Hello everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344, and just as I'm about to start my video, my screen flipped. I've never seen that happen before, and I didn't know how to get it back. I had to go into the settings to actually revert it back to this position. So I don't know how I flipped it. It must be some kind of coding in the pad, but that was definitely a message, and I was just hitting 22 about the Fool and the brand new start, which was actually in the present moment for the Divine Feminine read today. And I had done a masculine read yesterday, but I was just too tired to do a video for it. But I have to tell you, the feminine read today, at least half the cards are identical to what was in the read for the masculine yesterday, and the center card and the challenge card are exactly the same as the masculine read yesterday. So again, I had some major downloads coming in today. I did my sand art as well. So I'm going to do sand art. I will do the feminine read, which is really more masculine than it actually is feminine. And then the oracle cards at the end, okay? And again, 1212 and 1221 have been coming up like crazy. The page that I started my sand art notes on, it was 1212 at the top of the page. I started doing the sand art read at 1221. I went to bed when I did the sand art last night. When I went to bed was 12:21, so it's coming up a lot. And also the minute before the hour, it's showing me like the minute. It's showing me like the storm, but then showing me the minute before the storm. So that's a big theme, as well as energies that are coming up in the read, but were also in other things that I was experiencing, like movies I watched, were about the man who maybe wasn't always good in the past. Is trying to look out for a little boy. It was specifically about a man-child relationship, whether it's a grown child or a young child. It was about a man trying to make up for something to a child, a son that's not his own. So it's coming up in the read, but again, it was in movies that I watched and other situations that have come up this week. So, it is December 18th, 2018. It's all about the moon with the 18 and 18. And it's 218. So, 222. So 218 is about the High Priestess and the moon, right? It's all about that feminine energy. It's very emotional, very watery. And it is a 9 of endings. And it is at night, so it's the reflection. It's not the real light of the sun. So, stuff about decision making was coming up today also about you're going to get triggered to make decisions quickly and don't. If you go into fear, that's exactly the time not to make a decision. You should only be making decisions from a really positive, high energy place, okay? So if someone triggers you into fear, remember it's the fear, and we're in the moon today. So it's kind of like a test today to see if you'll react to it, or if you'll learn to be patient and wait it out, okay? And there's stuff that I'll bring up in my sand art too that may trigger you. But the test is to stay at 0 point, not freak out, you know, not jump into any conclusions. All right, balance yourself and then wait. Okay, don't forget the calm. The calm is before the storm, but also it's dark is before the dawn. Don't forget, we are coming into 2019. The dark is before the dawn. We're going from literally the moon to the sun year. So this month is going to be a huge test for you guys. Not to jump the gun, because we're going into the sun. Don't make decisions in the moon energy or at night energy. We're going into the sun, the 19 year, okay? Okay, so high noon was just coming up as well, just now. So, and 4 and 9, 409 just came up, but 4 and 9 are my lucky numbers, so I'm told. And then 14 just flashed, which is my third one. So 14 was coming up in the read as well, so that's a very important number. And when it came up in the read today, you will notice that 14 came up in a fortnight, and today's the 18th. 18 plus 14 is 32, which is January 1st, 2019, okay? It's all about the new year, the new day, the new world, okay? So for my sand art today, what was coming up, cleft lip and cleft palate was coming up first, so you know, you might be getting a lot of mailings about charities for that stuff. And I wholly support that charity, except I'm not really sure about the actual organizations. There was some negative information online actually about both, and I'm careful about donating to charities that have very little percentage that goes to administration. Okay, so you might want to look into that as well. Certainly don't have to do what I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there, this information. Also, right mouth issues were coming up. So if you're coming up with some right mouth pain, that was coming up. And again, that's the masculine side. You might have some clearing to do on the right side as well. Whether, you know, maybe you're getting a cold and one nostril is clogged. So, you know, pay attention to these things too. It's a clearing, or it's showing you something about what needs to be cleared. So then a huge family tree comes up in the sand art with leaks. So initially this huge family tree looks very strong. It's got a big trunk and a very wide tree, but it's very big, right? So there's a big family tree, but it has leaks. And it looks like it's going to grow stronger, but just as it looks like it's going to grow stronger, then it spontaneously falls apart. It disappears. It ghosts. So there may be family that gets ghosted or family that ghosts someone, but it's definitely a huge family tree is falling apart. Suspended in midair, the moment before the crash, okay? And don't get triggered by that. That's the test, okay? It's not a message for you to make sudden decisions, okay? There's a new trunk that grows suddenly on the other side, but disappears just as quickly. So something that may trigger you may correct itself right away, and then it may trigger you the other way, but then again it corrects. So just be careful about this. Don't get triggered to make quick decisions, whether it's in any aspect of your life, relationships, finances, work, whatever it is. Take time and wait. If you're not sure, wait. Putting out feelers, a cord then comes out from the center, right? Because the family tree trunk started out on one side and then it was on the other side, and now we're in the center. A cord comes out from the center, expanding with blue, the emotions, into the heart, and then crescendos. A new, more centered base that's very well grounded begins. A big leaf and a helping hand, out on a limb, hands across the water and hands across the sky. And Spirit's connecting with me, allowing the chips to fall where they may. A restructuring only. A little eruption as the masculine weakens. It is darkest before the dawn. Don't panic. No fear. No quick decisions. And then when I went to write wait it out, instead I wrote open. Okay, so that's a message for somebody specific. Wait it open instead of wait it out. Or keep it open-ended. Maybe that's going to be our permanent function, is to just always leave things open, right? Because as the co-creation or co-creators, you're in perpetual creative mode. So there's always a choice of two paths perpetually. You create, you integrate. You create, you integrate, okay? So you're leaving it open. And then 2018 and the moon energy comes in to show you we're at the end energy. Don't get triggered to make hasty decisions in December, because we're just about in 2019 and it's darkest before the dawn. Wait for the sun to come out. The sun will come out tomorrow. Then I got muscle men will fall by the light of the moon. Man down as the feminine rises with the new sun. A wet blanket effect. At the foot of the man, that's at the foot of the hill. A foothill, a fortnight, 14 days. Happy New Year, January 1st, 2019. And also I was getting fourth night, which is now the full moon on the 21st, 22nd, okay? Or the solstice. So 4 nights from today, we're going into the 22nd. And then I was getting a cleaver and June, and my instinct coming in there was that any disruptions now that may concern you right now will be corrected by June. So not to worry. That we're on the chopping block. The hacksaw breaks because it is weak. All right, so that's why a cleaver is necessary. All right, the hacksaw wasn't cutting it. Also, keys were then coming in, as well as the Florida keys, and ETs were coming in. Dousing flames of watchers, or dark watchers. So ETs are helping us. Actually, ET phone home was coming in, and then ETs actually pointing out the ET finger, the watchers. So you know who the dark is, and transmuting them, helping you transmute them, but pointing them out for you so that you can also do the same. Then I was getting the elephant roars, which is so funny because my brother used to make fun of me calling me an elephant because of my nose when I was little, right? But the elephant roars, or trumpets, or whatever you call the elephant. But the elephant and the elephant, and what that's symbolic for, is becoming weak as he lay his children down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Then I was getting the dog protects the children from a bracelet or handcuffs that may be out, or a laser or stinger that could hurt a child. The parents are very grateful to the dog, and it's possible that there's someone who had a dog who actually died in a rescue. All right, then I was getting that the elephant is crumbling. It's the representative of the old ways, the man, the masculine, the patriarchy. The elephant crumbles. A dog and a baby lamb become friends. So I wouldn't be surprised if you now see pictures in the papers about a dog and a baby lamb who think that they're related. Or a dog is without the lay of the land. So it was the dog energy I was getting was, worried. The dog was worried and protective or sad. There may be a dog who got lost. They didn't have lay of the land. And Spirit's connecting with me. And I want that the dog didn't mean to leave. I'm sorry. There's a dog that couldn't be there for someone because he didn't have lay of the land, and he's apologizing. Then I got an Indian headdress. Angels on the ground. The foundation of the family is now not the trunk of the tree, but the earth, Gaia, the mountains and the seas. The swordfish loses its blade, defenseless to the awakening humans. Baba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. As the baby lamb suffers. The animals, the elephant missing their trunks. The flying swordfish. The dog is loyal to the sleeping man. And notice the opposite, sleeping and awakening man. Resting only to deal with what's immediately at hand. Again, the dog is loyal to the sleeping man. Resting only to deal with what's immediately at hand. Okay, this is for the masculines because they're in great need of rest right now. Ships and drones at mountain crevice, where the water flows out to the sea. River tributaries. There may be twins who are called to these places, and meteorite landing zones and craters. And then I was getting, I'm bringing home, and instead of a baby bumblebee, I was getting, I'm bringing home a dinosaur. So it was referencing the masculines who are dinosaurs, who are from the dinosaur age, Dino. And we're not talking about the old, current way of the masculine, but the really old way, who's really about simplicity in life. But Dino, and living off the land, But I was getting, I'm bringing home a baby dinosaur. Won't my mother be so proud of me, right? But, at the end of the song, I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. Won't my mother be so proud of me? I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. Oops, he stung me. Okay? So, baby dinosaur doesn't rhyme with bumblebee. So it's not stung me. But it's just to be careful of, the clashes. All right? Because when you have negative energy, the bee stings. When you have positive energy, the bee is in resonance with you, and he can sit on your finger and you can be friends. Spirit's connecting with me. So this is all about a two-world clash, the collide into one new world. Give time to integrate. Sit back to back. Allow your spine energies to integrate. And then I was getting, let him rest, let him live, okay? And this was definitely coming up for that masculine who's done wrong in the past, who wants to make it up to a boy who's not his son. Could be father and son, but I was getting someone who's not related. And then I was getting, and this made me cry too, God, this is from Les Mis. God on high, remember that song? Hear my prayer, in my need, you have always been there, okay? He's young, he's afraid. Let him rest. Heaven blessed, okay? Bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. He's like the son I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers die one by one. How soon they fly on. And I am old and will be gone. Bring him peace, bring him joy. He is young, he is only a boy. You can take, you can give. Let him be, let him live. If I die, let me die, let him live. Bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. Okay, so very much about the masculine going through his dark night, and he needs to rest. Okay, and about older men trying to make amends to boys that they've hurt. And also could be a message for someone whose child is struggling. It's a very emotional day, obviously. It's the 18th. 18 is my birthday too, so, but 18 is the moon. It's very much about that emotional, moody energy. You know, lots of water. Today adds up to the 41, which is the Ace of Cups. So it's all about love, spiritual love, self-love, and new loves. Pure love. It is a 5, which is of freedom and expansion, of change. It's the one of the masculine energy that's very driven, very focused and very selfish. When the one's on the inside, it's about being selfish. But it's about being selfish. You know, there's a happy medium there, right? Of the selfish and the selfless, because we're human, we need to be selfish here to survive. That's what the ego is all about. But in selfishness on the inside, it's about loving yourself first. And the masculine's got a better handle on that than the feminine, naturally. But the masculine one on the inside of the Ace of Cups is showing that as being more selfish on the inside to love yourself first, and then 4 on the outside of being responsible and dependable to others on the outside, okay? But you're responsible to you first. But this is all about the Ace of Cups and the moon, so the feminine energy is very emotional love. Very touching moments. So then when I started doing the shuffle for the Divine Feminine read from the Sirian Star Seed, it was smooth mostly, and then I got stuck at one point. And what is stuck at one point? 0 point. It's saying be stuck at one point. Everything will go smoothly if you stay at one point. Otherwise, there may be a catapult or a tower moment. Don't get triggered into making a foolish decision. At 55, which is the Ace of Swords, the truth, Fu Manchu came up. Which is funny because my son's nickname is Chu and he's coming home. But it came not from that, it came from Fu. Fu Manchu came up. And then the main deck was coming up too. Could be about someone on a ship. Excuse me 1 second, I just have to fix my things. Okay, sorry about that. Then at 9:56, don't let the sun go down on me came up, all right, because we are in the darkest before the dawn. We're going from the 18 to the 19 on the new year. And then at 59, which is that moment before the hour, I was getting choppy waters due to the Hierophant from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, who he's kind of creepy, you know, he's kind of narcissistic. He's an old man with a beard who's very pumped up. He's very muscular, but he's got like a snow hat on and a robe, you know, like he's the fighter in the corner of the ring, but an old man. All right, but he's still in the corner, which is coming up now. That wasn't coming up for me before. So the fighter in the ring, who's taking his break, he's an old man, and he's got that snow cap on in the picture that looks like a birthday cake. It's tiered, so somebody might be going through tiers of fighting, right? So whatever the sports tiers are, that's something that's coming up here. Maybe someone's getting back in the ring after a long time, whether that's in boxing or whether it's in a relationship or the fight, right? Someone was too weak to fight and then got back in the ring to finish it up. Coming full circle. So the read coming up today, it was just 2121, all right? Completion, the world, wrapping things up. Coming to the end of the cycle, the end of the year. So the read was done at 10:10, right? And 10:10 is all about good news. It's also about the vibration staying close to 0.1101. Don't go farther away. But 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. It's about a turn for the better. Good news, going in a new direction. Destiny. There's some strong energies coming in today. I'm sure you feel it. The major arcana for the Divine Feminine were the Starseed and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so not only was the read done at 10:10, the Wheel of Fortune came in. And that's in the environment for the Divine Feminine, or how she is seen, okay? There were, the Starseed is the Fool, and then the Wheel of, this is actually the Great Wheel, is the Wheel of Fortune in the Sirian Starseed deck. There are 2 swords, 3 cups, 2 wands, and 2 pentacles, so very well balanced. And the only court card that came up for the feminine today was the Page of Cups, which is the same, I think, that came up for the masculine yesterday. So remember I told you that I did a masculine read, which I didn't read yesterday. I just did it because I was too tired. But the Page of Cups was the only court card that came up in that read, and like I said, like half the cards were the same, but this one was even more positive going forward. But the center card was the same. It was the Ace of Wands was the center yesterday for the masculine, today for the feminine, and the cross card or the challenge card was the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords, both days. The masculine yesterday and the feminine today, and the Page of Cups was in both reads. I think there were 1 or 2 other cards that were in both reads as well. So very similar. All right, we're coming together. And you see, I told you I took the 448 off my handle of my bedroom door yesterday that I've had for a long time, which if you flipped, one side was green, one side was red, and my screen flipped when I went to do this video. And it was just 44, reiterating that 448, all right? So it's about mastering, all right, before we switch gears, okay? And be careful about flips and being triggered. Don't be triggered into making quick decisions. Wait it out. If you're not sure, don't do anything. So the numbers that came up for the Divine Feminine read were 417, that whole number 417, but the single digits 417 and 8. 24 came up, 88, 429, 41, 11, 88 I said already, and of course 18. The message for the Divine Feminine was all about spiritual partnership. And it was literally the only messages I could get out of this read were that new love is risky business for saints. There's a passionate exchange coming for spiritual partnership. And the other way it was read was new love for the divine feminine inside the divine masculine with thoughts for a state of passion. Right? So either way was a very positive message coming through, all about spiritual partnership. And 88 and 11 were both double digits within the read, and that's 18, 18, 18. And today is 18, 18, 12, 18, 18. Very important that this is the moon, the darkest before the dawn. Wait for the dawn. So for the divine feminine read, it's all about starting out with the 9 of Swords, right, and ending the suffering. And beneath that was the 4 of Swords, right? It's about suffering in silence. But now playing ball, after holding back a new life, passionately moving forward to new passion, ending suffering from their own thoughts, the wise one has made a decision, gained clarity as new information has come in. So this doesn't mean someone necessarily came into you. It could be your own downloads or the divine masculine's own downloads. Now it's definitely getting this information about the divine masculine, but it is a read for both because we have masculine and feminine both in us, all right? So with a lot to get done physically, with everyone wanting to run around and get things done, Mother Mary comes to me, let it be. So she's here with us again today. So I put up my Mary Magdalene stone again for grounding, especially since in that sand art too, it was all about the earth as our foundation, not the tree trunk, but the whole earth, okay? So instead of brain wars and taking down others before they get you, we have new passion coming in, conquering your fears of immature words or communications, or sudden messages that aren't enough for you to make a decision on. Don't let them trigger you. That's fear. The Queen of Wands is out about gossip, a third party, overindulgences of children, being the stars and shining their lights. The Queen of Wands was upright here, okay? The Queen of Wands puts herself, and again, for those of you who aren't aware, Wands are fire signs. Okay, so we're talking about Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. The Queen of Wands puts herself above children, and this also can just be a fiery personality. It doesn't have to be a fire sign. But she's putting herself above children and negative self-talk to shine her own light. Here, children are coming up as the overindulgence, but only if you know that their negativity is blocking your light, okay, or overindulging in them at the exclusion of your own needs, not of ego, but to feel love, okay? So if you need to come away from your children, it's in order to love yourself more, and it shouldn't be coming from a place of ego. And then I was getting, I'm the baby, gotta love me. So I was getting this in a good way and a negative way, because it was coming up as grown women saying, I'm the baby, gotta love me, so it shouldn't be all about the kids. I'm the center of attention. It's not about that. So if that's coming up, you know, obviously that's ego, that's not love. So I was getting for the masculine energy that this is coming up for some of the twins. So whether it's the masculine or feminines who have a lot of masculine in them, as maybe separating from their children at this time or taking a break from their children. But I'm the baby, gotta love me came up. And then the question, is this your child or is this your inner child? Finances and career come up as the underlying energy for the divine feminine, with calling in your soulmate below that. So in calling in your soulmate, you were then guided to take care of finances and career stuff, okay? So the Knight of Cups is a still underlying energy, is on his way, okay? He's approaching. As friends or relatives may come in to try to keep you in check, feeling your ego is taking over and you are getting too big for your britches, or some of your friends may say for your bitches. They may just want your time with you. They may just want time with you. But crossing fingers and toes, or trading places, or trading bracelets was also coming up. So making sure, so trading places was like that flip of my screen, okay? But there's definitely going to be people trading places, whether it's parents trading kids or, like I said, friends giving bracelets to each other, you know, best friends, that type of thing. But they just may want your time, crossing fingers and toes, or trading places or trading bracelets, as the dog hides underneath the table or chair with too many women or girls in the air. It's actually in the room, but in the air, okay? Which is coming up, because after this was more information about these women. The energies coming up in the first half of the read of the underlying energy in the beginning is Virgo, Taurus, Sagittarius, Libra, Scorpio, Aquarius, Gemini, Aries, and Leo. So almost all of them. There's a few not there. All right, so now this has turned a little bit. We're going from very positive energy. I was getting this dog hiding under the table or hiding under a chair with a lot of women around, okay? So then I was getting, you know, the dog can literally be your dog or animal who's scared of these women, or it literally could be the masculine who doesn't want to be around these women, who's hiding from them. And then I see the women outside. So all the women go outside and the dog stays inside. So whether it's the dog or the masculine who doesn't want to be involved with this group of women. But it was very negative, the energy coming from this group of women. Definitely girl gossip here, mean girls talking about the wounded warrior who told one of them his sorrows, and it got out. So the Knight of Cups, as he approaches for the Divine Feminine, as he approaches, he may also first be approaching her, so some different people he needs to question now. The Knight of Cups approaches maybe someone at a pool or by the water, and she says, "Who, me?" And then out for a meal with another girl, or maybe the same one, who's trying to play footsie with him, saying, "Who, me? I wouldn't do that," right? The Magician is now taking hostages until someone fesses up to the truth. The leader of the pack, who is very conceited and in love with herself, the follower who pretends that she didn't know, and the dark depressed one, and I was getting Breakfast Club, who actually now feels guilty for what they did. This could be the karmic and a couple of friends. It could be their children and friends. It could be 3 sisters, 3 generations, mother, daughter, and the grandmother. Or actually a coven of 3 was also coming up, taking no prisoners. And then teaching and learning was coming up for the Divine Feminine, and then underneath that was even more so self-love. In really going into your self-love, teaching and learning. There was really negative female energy there in this group here, okay? It's not going to be for everyone's situation, but there's definitely some negative energy coming across there. But it was like the Divine Masculine was going to get to the root of it for sure. Okay, and that's going back to that family tree and that big tree trunk that's no longer existing. Okay, now our foundation is the earth. There's also, here is also for you to be aware of why your animals are reacting certain ways to certain people. Pay attention, just like you need to pay attention to what your body's telling you. Instability at home or moving. There's a Page of Wands here and a King of Pentacles. So a father and child. This could be that father and son, or a man with a son who's not his son, but wanting to make amends. But initially I was getting just father and son, so this King of Pentacles and Page of Wands, this King of Pentacles is worried about them because maybe this kid's been getting into trouble, possible sneaky behavior. It's the Page of Wands, who's very energetic. The the King of Pentacles is being all about Christmas money, and gold horns were coming up as well. So maybe someone has gold horns they're putting on the tree. And the King of Pentacles is also about announcements at school. So maybe there was an announcement at school, or maybe someone got in trouble at school, or about the fall of the tower or home or leaving. Unable to resist, the Divine Masculine may be called to leave his children behind. So this could be masculine or feminine, depending on how much masculine you are as a feminine. maybe leaving their children behind for mission, whether the masculine energy moves or the kids move to the feminine energy house. Prince Charming is searching for the foot that fits the glass slipper. Okay, this is that magician. The Knight of Cups who came in, but now is a magician questioning the women around him in his life. But now Prince Charming is searching for the foot that fits the glass slipper. The castle and kids left behind for new passion, new love. After much suffering and deep thought about this, and negative self-talk, teaching and learning, his destiny awaits. Recently, so now this was all underlying energy. So now recently coming into new love or self-love that was going slowly due to impatience and lack mentality, or an impatient mother or a mother of the children who was resisting or being difficult, or it was going slow because of a difficult child who was passionate about lying or stalking, or someone with ADD or ADHD or bipolar or possibly on the autistic spectrum. Either way, it's hard to love yourself when your house is coming crashing down around you. The foundation for the Divine Feminine was all about the King of Wands reversed. The card was actually the Page of Cups, so it's really all about the Page of Cups, but it's the King of Wands reversed, who's sick and tired of being heartbroken or separated by or from money or stability, and now wants to open his heart completely to pure love and passion after being controlled by passion for finances and career. Centrally at the heart of this, it's all about new passion. On the top of this page started at 11:11. The next page started at 12:12, okay? And the prior page started at 10:44. And yesterday, 44 was coming up like for every time that I was recording. So very important, okay? So now, 11:11 to 11:12. Again, we're going from also November to December, the end of the year. The lovers are almost there in ending suffering cycles, in rest and meditation, or just being quiet and still. As their heart opens, the flame grows bigger and feeding into one big download and leap of faith. A fresh new beginning connected by the Queen of Wands looking to the Queen of Cups for advice on love, truth, and transformation. The challenge for the Divine Feminine is about passing on her downloads and being watched. Okay, there may be some dark watchers. That it's risky business, as the Queen of Cups ends her own conflict, but now her savings may be being drained. While meditating through this portal, all right, because we're going through this, the 1221 portal, of the wounded warrior to become shiny and new, the Page of Cups for Christmas, right? The innocent child, so excited to get up on Christmas morning. Thus, this is being referenced to the Divine Masculine, leaving the wounded warrior behind and becoming the Page of Cups again. His new, fresh, new and shiny inner child for Christmas, giving it all, giving to all, and to all a good night. With great passion, there lies great risk. And then it was coming in, mother and child, silent night. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. So it's very much about notifying the Divine Feminine that the Divine Masculine is a new infant and he needs rest, okay? He needs to recover from this transformation and he needs sleep and peace. This also could do with any of those, dealing with new children, or maybe a youngest who needs a lot of attention, okay? He needs rest. Now in the Divine Feminine's head, as one big download comes in from the saints or from the streets, Robin Hood, imbalances in give and take are corrected now. causing some sadness, loss, regret, and grief in letting go of one thing, not allowing yourself to see another. There's love loss here, crying, overwhelmed, someone ghosted, to deal and forgive with the aftermath or to avoid destruction, sick of doing nothing but work or not able to focus on their work. There's a Leo female who may actually leave for a female partner. So someone who was married to a man who's now leaving to do their own work and going to a female partner. That may be one situation. Also, that a close friend was actually the affair. All right, so no one is suspicious when you hang out with your girlfriend all the time if you're a girl. But if that's someone you're having an affair with, that's what's coming up. Or a close friend passed, and the Queen of Wands is feeling ghosted or abandoned and wants to start over in a fresh new life completely. Whether it has to do with their relationship or not, they're just kind of going through like a midlife crisis type thing. Or the Queen of Wands may look to the Queen of Cups friend for answers about a new passion, and then all of a sudden disappears. Or a King of Wands ends it with two women, a Queen of Wands and a Queen of Cups, in order to leave and learn about himself more, his inner child, and with a new lover on the horizon. There may have been an affair with a new child involved here, or the karmic became pregnant but will now be raised by the karmic and her new female lover. Others are getting over a miscarriage or possible abortion here. I wasn't getting the abortion part strongly, but it definitely can come up with the energies that were there. The Queen of Cups, messenger of truth, about twins and their choice of paths. Portals and transformation of the wounded warrior's inner child. Prompts a leap of faith to a new beginning and new awareness to ascension, to union, and to home. Because we are with the North Node in Cancer now, so it's all about the home and the mother. Two sisters or friends may come together for a new start. Maybe they were at odds with each other, now coming back together, transforming on their own, or coming together in partnership. But to resolve their own wounds. So even if they're coming together in partnership, they may not be aware they're coming together to transmute each other's wounds. There may be transforming their own wounds of alcohol, spousal abuse, depression, inequity of sex in a relationship, with children and limited time to rest, and that breeds a need for freedom. So people who feel trapped will now be like taking off. So soon the divine masculine heart warms with freedom, an opening heart without knowing, but the emperor may be shy. So without knowing means the divine masculine is, his heart's now becoming warm. He's allowing it to open, like the blood flow through it again, with this new freedom that he has. He's opening his heart without this need to know everything. He's without knowing. He's in his knowing, or he's learning to be in his knowing. But the emperor may be shy due to prior rejection. He's been taking quiet time, rest, bat cave time in his heart to reflect, and 5D meditation, or connecting with his twin. Possibly after exposure that the Queen of Wands left, walked away, or ghosted him, and was then refusing his advances. So either he was all about work and refusing sex to her, it's one or the other. Either he was all about work and refusing her, and then she left, or she was all about work, home, and kids and refusing him sex. So whichever way it was, the divine feminine is coming up as balanced. And we're just at 4401. And 44 is about complete mastery over your world. So the divine feminine is balanced, and the 01 is the magician, being in your magician embodiment. Coming together to create, teach, and learn, with opportunity to see the world and become master manifester. Rejecting offers of love that don't resonate with you. That's for the divine feminine. The cards that came up from Romance Angels were honeymoons, about time away, and flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. Around her is destiny. Breaking patterns, dropping facades, allowing yourself to make mistakes in being taken down by family. All right, and you not trying to take others down before they get you. okay? Allowing the mistakes to happen. Going through the pain, allowing the transmutation of it. Hopefully walking away before being taken down this time. All right, so for the masculines who've been allowing their family to take advantage of them, is no longer putting up with this. All right, if they want to do that, he's already walked away, so it's not going to affect him. Then I was getting Atom, or Atom, A-T-O-M, drops the facade of Prince Charming to tell Cinderella that he loves her just as Eve. Divine Feminine clears blocks of thinking Batman will leave. All right, so Divine Feminine in fear that the Masculine will leave once he comes in. The King of Pentacles is dropping it all, and then their fear is that they'll drop it all and then chicken out and run the other way. The energy for the feminine coming up here is all about the spiritual partnership, and even more so, relationship change and surrender. There's a creepy hierophant here. Papa was coming up. Old man with muscle or white-bearded weightlifter expecting attention at the gym is abusing and touching girls inappropriately. Girls may be mooning a creepy Santa, right? So some teenage girls may be mooning a creepy Santa Claus. or after dealing with a creepy old man, a creepy old priest, or a creepy old Santa Claus, the young women and young girls may be now putting themselves out there for a really sweet guy who likes her butt but is really good to her. Someone she may never have noticed before, or, you know, didn't think of them in that way. Now she's learning to appreciate the good man. Also is getting sex trades coming up of young girls. It wasn't like a major theme here, but it was definitely coming up to be looked at. There's a heated exchange of passion in lies, splits, and divides, awakening women and girls to the long-awaited divine masculine, King of Cups, unconditional love, someone she may have turned down in the past, exposing true satisfaction or arrogance in the weak, lying man. The King of Swords reversed, who's not in his truth, drops the ball or is missing a ball. And that's funny because I have one tennis ball right here. So, dropping the ball or missing a ball, while not paying attention, only seeing his own perspective, not caring about anyone around him. All right, so this is one thing that's going on. So if the King of Swords has two options, he's either the King of Swords reversed in this, right, where he's actually arrogance of the weak lying man, he's not being his truth, he drops the ball or misses a ball while not paying attention because he's only paying attention to his own perspective, not caring about anyone around him. Or he's not dropping, or he is dropping lower vibrational thoughts, and in his knowing now, expressing his feelings after transforming through the portal and now ascending, making bold, brave moves forward. Okay, so it's the choice of the masculine. Do you want to stay in your lie, or do you want to be your truth? After suffering in silence, the Page of Cups opens to balanced destiny. That great love and passion doesn't have to be this all or nothing. It doesn't have to be this unstable environment, right, where you have to fight and have make-up sex or anger sex. Like a lot of the masculines are going to be coming from this energy. But new love, new passion, with calculated risk, warm heart of the bat cave, allowing him to come and go, to work on himself, a huge download of a fresh new start, opening the crown to a leap of faith, to a passionate exchange of a higher vibration, a higher love, making love or ascension, as opposed to not war or death. As he picks up Eve on his chariot of wood and horses, not steel and wheels, and certainly not a pumpkin. So really beautiful read, okay? And again, reiterating that it's 14 days to 32. 32 is the 6 of Wands, right? It's the guy at the head of the parade or coming home from the war, the one who's at the lead and at the attention, getting and having followers. But you know, it's success and victory and good news. 32, and it comes in on January 1st, 2019. So there's definitely water, a lot of water energy around the second part of the read, and Leo comes up again. Yeah, Aries, Pisces. Yeah, that's really the main energies coming up in the second part of the read. And I'm going to pull you some oracle cards now as well. So please comment below. Let me know, you know, what you're getting as far as all these downloads, okay? And of course, like, share, and subscribe as needed. Thank you all of you guys. I enjoy so much communicating and connecting with you guys. I love you guys. Take a deep breath, okay? I feel it's very stressful energy today coming in. It's positive, but it's a lot. Clear and align. This is the Ascension deck. Clear and align. Okay, this December 18, 2018. What is the message for everyone watching for the best and highest good of all those concerned? Alright, what do we need to know? Oh. Alright, so I'll take those. 2 cards fell out. And the bottom of the deck is Lady Nada, which is 45. Okay. Lady Nada, 45 is a 9. And the affirmation is, I accept and practice my healing, spiritual, and psychic gifts. Okay? So, as in any 9 is an ending cycle. So, when you're in a 9 year, it's very frustrating because you can't go forward. You feel that. So, it's really about letting go of stuff that you don't need anymore and just waiting it out. And that can be frustrating at times because you know you want to go ahead. But it's really about that energy of the end of the year here in December to wait it out, okay? Don't make new changes in the 9, okay? Okay, so the cards that came out for you guys at this 5300, it just turned, is the Gold and Silver Violet Flame, which is all about transmutation. It's number 4 of the Emperor. Okay, which is all about manifesting on this earth. It's about ego manifesting, but that's about stability and building. Okay, security. It's about the root chakra. And then we also have earth, which we are very much talking about the earth, and 14. Okay, we're talking about earth and Gaia as your foundation, as your stability, the earth. Okay, the earth and your galactic connections, but we're talking about the grounding qualities today. And we have 4 and 14, which I brought up as 2 of the numbers I was told were my lucky numbers. 4, 14, and 9, which also came up. Okay, so important for you guys as well. The 4 of the Emperor, the 14 of the Temperance card, which is also of the angels. All right, it's of patience and balance and moderation. Number 4 reads, Archangel Zadkiel and Saint Germain are keepers of the violet flame of transmutation. When you add the gold of wisdom and the silver of grace and harmony, you create the powerful gold and silver violet flame. The angels suggest you invoke this mighty energy to clear the ascension path ahead of you and keep your light pure and clear. When you send the gold and silver violet flame to people, situations, places, you facilitate wondrous transformations. This powerful light transmutes the old and raises everything to a very high frequency. The affirmation is, I am the gold and silver violet flame. Okay, and again, that's the Emperor energy. Mastering control over everything in your life. 44. All right, so if we're going to a higher vibration, 4 is the Emperor, but 44 is 8, which is manifestation, staying at 0 point. It's the Chariot Ascension. So the Earth is number 14, which is another 5. So we had 41-5 for the day and 14-5 for this card. All right. So 5 again is about change, expansion, freedom, romance, children. Children was very much about today. This card invites you to connect with Lady Gaia, the angel in charge of our planet, as well as to Taya, the elemental master of Earth, and his earth elementals, including goblins and pixies. Invoke Master Rikoksky, master of the 11th ray of mysticism, to help you attune to the wisdom of our glorious planet, and then listen to his heartbeat to further expand your consciousness. Ask the Earth Dragons to help you connect to Hollow Earth and Lemurian wisdom. Earth loves, nurtures, and welcomes you, so this is a card of joy and celebration. The affirmation is, I thank Lady Gaia for inviting me to be on Earth. So it's very much about our earthly connection, and it was very much about, you know, the family tree. The Earth, the whole Earth, Gaia is our family tree. We have many roots within. All right, so for the past life deck, okay, take another deep breath. Clear and align. Okay, so for this December 18, 2018, what is the advice? What does everyone listening needs to know for the highest and best good of all? What do we need to know? Okay. The bottom is Celtic, Celtic, however you pronounce it. Okay, that's the underlying energy. And again, this is funny because the figure on this cross looks like a Neanderthal. It's not, he just does. He's got the short legs and the big body and the long arms with the big hands. And it's very much about the dinosaur that I brought up earlier in the sand art. All right, so about the old ways of being a man, and about the church and the establishment, about the the masculine energy coming down, the patriarchy coming down. But this is very much a big part of religion, and this is coming up as Celtic, so. Or Celtic. Or maybe the team. The team is coming up today because they're a bunch of Neanderthals. But it's very much the underlying energy. That yes, there's a negative and a positive to this, okay? So the negative being, the patriarchy that's falling, but also the positivity about the old way of man being able to survive on Earth, right? Being very one with nature. That is the positive message out of this. This card is very green, right? And the beautiful buildings that were built out of stone. It's very much about the men who connect with their hands and the earth, their natural connections. That's the very positive part coming out here. The cards that came out for you guys were all about trees. All right, so it's all about the family tree and nature today. And this picture always reminds me of the card that came out for me in France. But we also have imprisonment and slavery. Okay, so I guess I am supposed to bring that up. This card of the trees is very much like the crucifixion card from the Mary Magdalene deck that I pulled one day on my retreat in France. About the sun breaking through the trees. All right, and in this picture it's the sun coming through one tree. In the Mary Magdalene crucifixion, it's about two lines of trees where the sun breaks through the lines of trees, right? But it's very much about here comes the sun, right? Because we're coming into the 2019, the sun year, and to wait for the sun to break through. Be with nature and the trees and ground yourself and wait for the sun. Just like nature. Nature just waits and allows themselves to grow naturally. But there's imprisonment and slavery, and this is bringing me back to France again because in the Mary Magdalene cave where I got this stone, when we did her meditation, right as we went into meditation, there was another group of people, which we didn't know was a big group. We had talked to 2 or 3 people, but we knew that there was a group of people waiting for us to come out of the cave because we got there before them. But what we thought was 2 or 3 people ended up being this huge group outside the cave, and they were very noisy as we were in there trying to meditate, which I noticed. Oh my gosh. And then I'm getting, if every voice were still, the noise would still continue. The rocks and stones themselves would start to sing. And that was from Hosanna, from Jesus Christ Superstar. If every voice were still, the noise would still continue. The rocks and stones themselves would start to sing, and Spirit's connecting with me. But when I was at this meditation, these women were out there. As soon as we started going to the meditation and she was ready to do her channeling of Mary Magdalene, this was Mercedes Kirkle, for any of you who are interested in her retreat, which was amazing, by the way. I went into being burned at the stake. Now this cave is on a cliff. It's, you know, it's not a place you want to mess around with right outside the cave, because you could just be pushed off and killed, right? Because it's kind of narrow right there. And it was just 10114, vibrating high to the 14, which is the Temperance, the angel card, okay, of 0 point in moderation. The group outside, someone screamed at the top of their lungs. At this moment, I saw myself being burned at the stake and then pushed off the cliff outside the cave. And I immediately got this traumatic fear that when I left that cave now, that someone was going to push me off the cliff. And it was only like a minute. But when we were done her meditation, nobody else got, I was like, did that scream not affect you guys? And they were all like, yeah, and they were saying it was probably a birthing ritual. But she was screaming like she was being burned at the stake. This is what took me into this past life. And then later I would get another past life of being thrown off that cliff as an infant, as a masculine, literally, like taking me as a baby and dropping me like that. So there's very much those imprisonment energies coming in from France. So there may be some past life stuff you guys need to clear from. I'm thinking Napoleon's coming up now as well. And there's a portal in France. It's, oh my God, the energy in the south of France, unbelievable. I was like a little kid running around. There's butterflies everywhere. My synchronicities were crazy there. It was so beautiful. I must have told you this a million times before, but in the Mary Magdalene Chapel that she frequented, I have trouble going into old buildings because I pick up all the negative energy and get nauseous really easily. But when we went in this small chapel, I felt like a little kid, and I was like skipping around. And as everyone was doing their thing, I saw myself as a little girl in the corner there. And when I went to that corner to feel into the energies, I started crying, and I bent down and I took pictures by accident. And I looked at the pictures, and they were a stone underneath the bench right in front of me. So when I looked to examine that stone, because it did look slightly different than the rest of the stones in the church, on the other side of the foot of the bench was, you know, close to the wall, so I had to literally get down on my hands and knees to look. There was an imprinting on the stone, which I actually have a picture of a little girl. And also, when I went on my Illustrator to actually color it so it could be more easily seen, not only could I get the imprinting of a little girl, but I was also getting an imprinting of Mary and Jesus kneeling together. It was really beautiful. And there was a message in the wall right next to me there. And then we found out later that the altar wasn't actually the portal of the church, because there was a very high energy line going through the church there, where they, you know, the advertisements are to go spend time at the altar because that's where the energies are the highest. But a man who was writing a book about the different historical sites told us that actually where I was standing was the portal of the church. So it was a very cool experience. So if any of you guys are interested, Mercedes Kirkle, she channels Mary Magdalene, and I believe she's doing the trip again. It was July, so it's probably around that time again this year. You can just look up Mary Magdalene, you'll find her very easily if you're interested in going that trip. I'm telling you, it was amazing. All right, so for the journey of love, okay, Okay? Journey of love. Take a deep breath, guys. Alright, so for everyone, for the best and highest good of all who's concerned, this December 18, 2018. What is the advice? What do we need to know? What does everyone watching need to know? For the best and highest good of all who's concerned. December 18, 2018. Alright. There's too many cards coming out here. There's two, and I'll tell you the other three, but I'm not going to read them. The bottom of the deck is the breaking, which is number 65, which is the King of Pentacles, which definitely came up in the read, okay? This is the underlying energy, the breaking of the Divine Masculine. It's number 65, like I said, which is an 11, which also came up. What was the other 11 that came up? The year, because we're in 11 year. That was coming up for me earlier. I didn't say anything though. Because the 11 is all about justice. So this is the King of Pentacles and justice as the underlying energy. And I'll tell you the three other cards. There's two main cards that came out for you guys, but there's three more cards that I guess I was supposed to bring up. And look at the colors, are all different, really different colors. These are the three cards that came up randomly after the two cards came out for you. Alright, beautiful colors. They're the Christ Flame, which is 31, which is very much about the crucifixion, which I just brought up from France. It's the Woman of Light. The Christ Flame was 31, the Woman of Light's 49. 31 is the Five of Wands, that conflict energy. 49 is the Nine of Cups, which is the get your wish or being totally satisfied energy. And then the Spiral Dance of the Goddess, which is 29, which is the Three of Wands, which now is, for me is all about being present in the present moment. Alright, so to go from conflict to the peace after the storm, which is getting your wish, staying at 0 point. It's very much about that energy, right? Because this is very lower chakra energy to very high chakra energy, right? The crown. And then to very grounded energy again, okay? Being of the earth, grounded. Not lower chakra, but grounded, connected to the earth. And this is Mother Earth coming up here. The ovary is coming up in this picture as well. The ovary and, oh, that's so cute. I was getting the, I'm blanking out, the ovary and the, going down the tubes to the uterus is being emphasized here to keep it healthy. I'm also getting inchworms, so someone might have a worm. And someone might have a worm in their fallopian tubes. That's a weird message. I'm not getting anything major negative about it, but that's not something I get. And also, I'm getting gangrene for someone, because this is like gangrene. So if that means for anyone, please let me know. I mean, you don't have to say it publicly if you don't want to. You can always email me if you want to let me know something that's personal. Alright, so gangrene is definitely coming up for someone, and it could be relating to diabetics. But I'm also getting someone tied up. The circulation is too tight. Something's too tight. Maybe someone is, a lot of people wear socks for their circulation. There's someone, I'm seeing bandages are too tight. And I'm also getting mummification. Okay, so this is just random cards that were coming up. From, it's like the Holy Spirit coming in, and the olive tree, the olive branch. Out on a limb is coming up again, Shirley MacLaine. Because that came up in the read, but it's coming up again here. Out on a limb. Right, so someone's going out on a limb for you. And here we have the ovaries, right, out on the limbs of Mother Earth. The trees, the branches breaking. But I'm going from the earth of that to the goddess of the woman of light, and then, you know, the birth of the divine feminine into her light, and the downfall of the masculine of Christ on the cross at the crucifixion. Okay, Spirit's connecting with me very much. Okay, I'll show you that again. Okay, from the womb, from the mother womb of earth, comes the divine feminine into her light, and the downfall of the masculine on the cross. Okay. The cards that came out for you, sorry, this one's going longer than I thought it was going to, but it was just 011033. Okay. The Magician, the Wheel of Fortune, and 33 is the Christ vibration. We were just talking about his crucifixion, his magician embodiment. Okay. And we talked about that before too. But anyway, the cards that came out for you guys, this one, which is Let the Feminine Lead the Way. It's number 39, which is the Knight of Cups. See, that very much can be also the masculine in his Knight of Cups energy. Okay. And it's just this 0111-7. Alright, this other card came up as Heaven. Heaven is number 70. 70 is the Two of Pentacles. And in the Syrian Starseed deck, it's about surrender. It's giving it up to God. Heaven. I'm going to read these two for you. They're very different colors. Again, there's contrast here to show you contrast on purpose. Alright. Heaven and Earth. And letting the feminine lead the way. There's very much in this Earth card. There's greens and rusts and reds and olive green and caramel type colors. So I'll read the 39 first, and then Heaven. Okay. So let the feminine lead the way. 39-3, which is all about self-expression, and the Empress, which has been coming up as Mother Earth. The feminine principle in you, whether man or woman, is the way forward in your life now. She is the principle of feeling and surrender. She feels the intelligence of the divine guiding light in a way that the masculine principle cannot at this time. You may not see where you're going, therefore, but you can feel your way forward. Trust her. Let your mind go and let your senses lead you, becoming more exquisite and communicative. Be led by your heart. Don't worry if you don't know all the details yet or how it's going to work out. This is a message for the masculine. She knows the way. Let her lead. This oracle brings confirmation to you that what you've been feeling or sensing, even without any logical physical evidence, is worth following up on. Trust your senses over appearances. Trust your intuition over your intellect. You are letting feminine wisdom guide you, and she will steer you in the best direction. The poem reads, My coming out is the freedom to fully be who I am, and the surrender to the divine essence, expressing through and around me. My coming out is the marriage of twin souls with my life partner in gratitude, in love, unfolding as more than we could ever be on our own. How beautiful is that? Okay, so 70. That needs no explanation. Heaven. You are meant to live heaven now, not later, sometime after you die. What use is this life and body if not to live heaven now? Look for the mad divine genius in all that is, especially the puzzling parts of your life that make you scratch your head or tear at your hair or scrunch up your face and scream with frustration. Those are the places in which the divine is saying, here, heaven is hiding. Let's unveil it together. Let me show you. Let me unveil your own mad divine genius right here. Look for heaven even in its hiding. It will not withhold itself from you for long, beloved. It wants to be known by you. This oracle brings you a special message. The enlightener is calling you to more, to more, to more. More divinity, more love, more acceptance, more embrace of life itself. There is no limit in what is being offered to you from the divine lover calling to you, the beloved. Rejoice and know that the dance of love between you and the divine is the removing of the veils of illusions, one at a time, until you behold each other, naked and true, finally to discover you are each other. You are love. And it was just 11411. And that was 11444. Very cool. The sky ablaze with morning light, on silver wings of birds in flight, in gratitude a tear released, a knowingness embraced at peace. She speaks to those that gaze below, ancestral wings which call my soul to open hearts and soar above. In all the winds await this love. Alright, so just about accepting who you are and what yours and the earth you've been given, the heaven that you've been given to live here. Not to wait till you die. To appreciate each moment and what is in your life. And the love. Okay. Drink your water. Rise and be loved. Bye.